Benny Hill's fortune, a family feud. Benny Hill, the beloved British comedian, brought laughter to millions with his slapstick humor and iconic chase scenes. His show, The Benny Hill Show, was a global phenomenon, catapulting him to international stardom. Behind the goofy grin and mischievous antics, however, lay a complex man who led a surprisingly frugal life. When Hill died suddenly in 1992, he left behind not only a legacy of laughter, but also a $7.5 million fortune and a tangled web of familial discord. A humble beginning. Alfred Hawthorne Hill, better known as Benny Hill, began his journey in Southampton, England in 1925. His early life was modest, with stints as a milkman and an entertainer for beachgoers. World War II saw Hill serving his country, using his comedic talents to entertain the troops. It was during this time that he adopted the stage name Benny Hill, a tribute to his comedic idol, Jack Benny. Post-war, Hill's career gained momentum with appearances on variety shows and radio programs. His breakthrough came in 1955 with the debut of The Benny Hill Show, a program that would cement his place in comedic history. The rise of a comic icon. The Benny Hill Show became a global sensation, airing from 1955 to 1991 and captivating audiences with its unique blend of slapstick, satire and saucy humor. Hill's characters, often hapless and eternally chased by scantily clad women, became instantly recognizable. The show's iconic theme song, Yakety Sax, became synonymous with Hill's brand of chaotic comedy. Despite the show's success and Hill's international fame, he remained remarkably grounded. He shunned the limelight, rarely giving interviews and preferring the quiet solitude of his off-screen life. Behind the laughs, a life of frugality. Benny Hill's frugality was legendary. Despite his considerable wealth, he lived a remarkably simple life. He resided in a modest rented flat, eschewing the luxurious homes he could easily afford. Hill was often seen wearing worn-out clothes, even resorting to gluing his shoes rather than buying new ones. His diet consisted mainly of discounted food, a far cry from the lavish meals his wealth could have provided. This stark contrast between his on-screen persona and his off-screen life puzzled many. Some attributed it to his humble beginnings, while others speculated about deeper insecurities. Whatever the reasons, Hill's frugality became an intrinsic part of his enigmatic persona. The will a twist in the tale. When Benny Hill passed away from a heart attack in 1992, he left behind a $7.5 million estate and a brewing family feud. Hill, a beloved comedian known for his slapstick humor and iconic television show, had amassed a considerable fortune over his career. His sudden death shocked fans and family alike, but it was the contents of his will that truly stirred the pot. His official will, drafted in 1961, bequeathed his entire fortune to his parents and siblings. This document, written in a different era, reflected the close-knit family ties that Hill cherished. It was a straightforward will, with no room for ambiguity or dispute, or so it seemed. However, by 1992, all named beneficiaries had predeceased him. This left the estate in a peculiar situation, as there were no direct heirs to claim the inheritance. The family home, once filled with laughter and memories, now stood empty, a silent witness to the passage of time. This seemingly straightforward situation took a turn when several of Hill's close friends and co-stars came forward, claiming the existence of a later will. These individuals, who had been part of Hill's life and career, believed they had a rightful claim to his fortune. The air was thick with tension as old friends became potential adversaries. Among them was Sue Upton, Hill's longtime friend and frequent co-star, who claimed that Hill had promised her a significant portion of his estate. Upton, who had shared many on-screen moments with Hill, felt that her contributions to his success were being overlooked. She maintained that a more recent will existed, one that would have recognized her contributions to his life and career. Upton's claims were supported by a few handwritten notes and personal letters, but these were not enough to constitute a legal document. However, despite her assertions, no such will was ever found. The search for this elusive document led to numerous legal battles and a deepening mystery. The empty courtroom and the unyielding file drawers symbolized the unresolved nature of Hill's final wishes, leaving his estate in a state of limbo. Friends versus family, the battle for Benny's millions. Benny Hill, the legendary comedian, left behind not just a legacy of laughter, but also a substantial fortune. However, the absence of a more recent will ignited a bitter feud between Hill's friends and his surviving relatives. The absence of a more recent will ignited a bitter feud between Hill's friends and his surviving relatives. The legal battle was intense, with both sides presenting their arguments passionately. Hill's friends, many of whom had been loyal companions for decades, felt betrayed. His friends, many of whom had been loyal companions for decades, felt betrayed. They argued that Hill had always intended to provide for them, citing his generosity and their close relationships as evidence. They reminisced about the good times they had shared and the promises Hill had allegedly made. They argued that Hill had always intended to provide for them, citing his generosity and their close relationships as evidence. They presented letters, photographs, and other memorabilia to support their claims, hoping to sway the court's decision in their favor. Hill's relatives, on the other hand, insisted on upholding the 1961 will, which, in the absence of other beneficiaries, meant that his estate would be divided among his surviving nieces and nephews. They believed that the will was a clear reflection of Hill's true intentions. The dispute played out in the media, with both sides making their case publicly. News outlets covered the story extensively, with headlines capturing the drama and tension of the courtroom battles. TV reporters stood outside the courthouse, providing live updates on the proceedings. Friends shared anecdotes of Hill's generosity and his alleged promises of financial support. They spoke of his kindness, his willingness to help those in need, and the many times he had expressed his desire to take care of them. Relatives, meanwhile, maintained that the 1961 will reflected Hill's true wishes, regardless of any informal agreements he might have made. They argued that the legal document was the only valid testament of Hill's intentions and should be respected above all else. The final verdict: nieces and nephews inherit. After a protracted legal battle, the court ultimately ruled in favor of Hill's surviving family. With no valid will to supersede the 1961 document, his $7.5 million fortune was divided among his 7 nieces and nephews, most of whom had had limited contact with Hill during his lifetime. The decision left Hill's close friends, including Sue Upton and his producer Dennis Kirkland, embittered and disillusioned. The court's ruling highlighted the importance of clear and legally sound estate planning. Hill's failure to update his will, coupled with the lack of written documentation regarding his alleged promises, resulted in a bitter and emotionally charged legal battle. Hill's legacy, a complex picture. Benny Hill's comedic legacy remains a subject of debate. While his brand of humor was immensely popular during his lifetime, it has been criticized in more recent times for its portrayal of women and its reliance on slapstick and innuendo. Despite the controversy, his influence on comedy is undeniable. His work has been cited as an inspiration by numerous comedians, and his iconic chase scenes have been parodied countless times. Beyond his comedic legacy, Hill's life story serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of estate planning. His failure to update his will and formalize his wishes led to a bitter dispute that tarnished his memory and left his closest friends feeling betrayed. Lessons learned: the importance of a will cannot be overstated. It is a fundamental aspect of responsible estate planning. Benny Hill's story underscores the crucial need for clear and legally sound estate planning. Without a will, the distribution of assets can become a complicated and contentious process, often leading to family disputes and legal battles. A will is not merely a document for the wealthy, it is an essential tool for anyone who wishes to ensure that their assets are distributed according to their wishes after their death. Whether you have a large estate or modest assets, a will provides clarity and direction. Regularly updating one's will to reflect life changes, such as marriage, divorce, or the birth of children, is equally important. Life is dynamic, and your will should be a living document that evolves with your circumstances. Hill's case also highlights the importance of open communication within families. Discussing your estate plans with your loved ones can help ensure that everyone understands your wishes and reduce the potential for conflict. Discussing one's estate plans with loved ones can help prevent misunderstandings and minimize the potential for conflict after death. These conversations, though difficult, can provide peace of mind for both you and your family. While these conversations can be difficult, they are essential for ensuring that one's final wishes are honored. Taking the time to plan and communicate your estate decisions can make a significant difference in how your legacy is preserved and remembered. Conclusion. Benny Hill's life and career were marked by both comedic genius and personal complexity. His sudden death and the subsequent battle over his estate serve as a stark reminder of the importance of proper estate planning. While his legacy continues to generate laughter and debate among fans, his story also offers a valuable lesson about the importance of clarity, communication, and the enduring power of a legally sound will.